Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Layla B here, and I'm back with another video. In last week's video, we talked about the 5 worst things you could do on a first date. And this video, we're going to be talking about 5 worst things you can say on a first date. So if you're interested in learning what not to say, then continue watching. Tip number 1 is you do not want to overshare or volunteer information. And what I mean by this is, do not sit there and tell him all your information about your childhood stories and your past exes. Why are you still single? That you're going to therapy. Like, he don't need to know all that information. Now, if he asks and that's personal to you, then you can just let him know, like, hey, I'm not comfortable talking about that right now. But don't share personal information to him on the first date. We don't want to scare him, okay? We just want to, let him know that you are fun and exciting, but he don't need to know all your business. So, especially so quickly. So, do not overshare. Do not let him know anything he doesn't need to know. Tip number 2 is, do not ask him personal, deep questions about, like, his relationships and what he's looking for and all. Like, don't even do all that, because you don't want to put pressure on him to make him feel like this is you don't want to put pressure on him that you're seeing him as, that you want him to be your man, or that you want him to be like in your life like that, because we don't know him. We're not even sure if he even will even get along with you. Now, I understand that a lot of us, we want to sit here and just go right in and let him know, like, I don't want him to waste my time because this is what I'm looking for. But I feel like with guys, you can't come at them so hard when it comes to commitment, because they get so scared of that. They get so turned off if a girl is like, I want to be in a relationship and I want this and I want a boyfriend, and if you're not here for that, because it's like, at the end of the day, you really don't know if he's going to end up being your boyfriend anyway. And it's not even so much if he's going to do something wrong, but what about you? Like, maybe he's not someone that you even align with, like, you know what I mean? So we don't want to sit there and make him feel like there's so much pressure being with you. Like, he should feel like this person is super fun. I like hanging out with her. I like her vibe. Yes, we know that a relationship is something that we want, but he doesn't need to know that from jump. He just needs to know that you're somebody that he will want to keep spending time with, and eventually you guys can work up to those conversations. But on the first date, do not hit him with all these questions about, what is he looking for, and, what's the type of girl he's trying to, get with, and what his intentions are. Like, because over time, those things are going to show eventually anyway. Tip number 3, and this is important because we all do it unintentionally, is do not give him the cheat sheet. And what I mean by the cheat sheet is do not tell him what he needs to do in order to win you over. We do this so often and we don't even realize it. So, like, a typical question a guy will maybe ask you is, what is it that you're, looking for? Or, like, what is it that, you see, like, what's your perfect man? Or, like, what is a perfect man to you? Or what is a perfect guy for you? Whatever. Like, and then we sit there and tell them, oh, I want someone who's kind and loving and romantic and generous and all these different things. And we think it's, a normal question and we're just answering the question. But no. What we're doing is we're telling him exactly what he needs to know in order to get what he wants. So he's going to sit there and show you, oh, he's kind, he's generous, he's romantic, he'll take you on all these dates, he'll do everything you said you wanted in a perfect man. And then when he gets what he wants, he no longer is that perfect man that you thought he was. You know what I mean? Because really, from jump, he probably was never that person in the first place. He probably never even had those qualities in the first place, but because you told him what it is and the best way to win you over, he did it, and he did exactly what you told him to do. And now you're left feeling like, damn, like, what happened? Where did this relationship go? It went nowhere because it started from nowhere. You know what I mean? So just don't tell him information. Just be light and be breezy about it. Like, I don't know, but I'm sure, I'll find it. I'll know when I find it. Like, don't don't let it be so easy for him to know what it is that he has to do to win you over. It should be a challenge, because men like the chase. They may not say they like the chase, but they like it. You know what I mean? So just don't tell him. Tip number 4, and this goes back to my previous video, is do not talk about sex. In my last video, I said do not have sex. This video, do not even let the conversation come up or even lead to that, because guys will try you. They will definitely try to squeeze that in there. I remember one guy had asked me, like, you know, what's the weirdest place you had sex? On a first date. And I'm like, this is odd. Like, why is this, you know, like, why is that even coming up in your head right now? You know what I mean? And they may, you know, they may phrase the question like it's an innocent question, like, oh, well, you know, it's just a question about sex. Like, no, just don't even go there. Don't even let the conversation lead to that, because as soon as you open that door for him to ask sexual questions, he will continue asking you sexual questions. So in that situation, just, like I said, steer the conversation into a different direction, or just let him know, like, hey, I'm not comfortable talking about that right now. Like, and that's it. That should be it. Now, if he pushes you and he pressures you, because most guys probably will be like, you know, what's the big deal? You know, it's just a question. Da, 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 da. Like, don't let him gaslight you. Don't let him make you feel like, you know, what you're saying or, you know, how you're feeling is unjustified. Just let him know, like, you know, that's just not something that I want to talk about right now. And you don't have to be a bitch about it. You don't have to be rude. You know, just let him know, like, hey, that's just not something that I'm comfortable talking about. And he should leave it at that. If he keeps pushing you, you know he ain't the one. Because if he's pushing you on just a simple topic of conversation, imagine what he's trying to push on you with the physical stuff when you guys do get to that stage. Don't even do it. Like, just be like, oh, okay, cool. Say less, and then delete his number. So do not let the conversation lead to sex. I don't care how funny it is, how cool it is. You guys can get to that point later, but on a first date or on the first couple of dates, don't even let it happen. And tip number 5, and this kind of goes back to tip number 2, but I think it's a more important to kind of really dive into this, is do not bring up commitment, relationship, marriage, babies, any of that. Like, do not sit here and throw out, like, you know, I want a husband right now, I want to get married, I want all these things. Like, you can let him know what your goals are, you know, in the future, but don't make it seem like you want him to be that person in your future. Like, you want to make it seem like you're gonna have that anyway, and whoever, you know, that person is, they're gonna be lucky to have you. But you don't want to come off arrogant or, you don't want to come off arrogant or cocky, but just be like, you know, I definitely see that in my future, you know, one day, and whoever that person is, you know, I'm gonna be excited to meet him. You know what I mean? But don't sit there and be like, well, I'm hoping me and you can, like, you know, eventually get to that point. Or, like, don't even do that, because it may seem innocent that you talking about it, and it's like seems fun and whatever, but I'm telling you, guys will feel like a sense of pressure, and eventually over time in your relationship, when you guys do start talking about and getting closer, and when you hit him with, like, hey, so where's this going, he's already going to be feeling pressure the entire time you guys are dating. And the thing is, you want him to come up with that conversation. You want him to be talking about, so where is this going, you know, like, where do I fit in your world? Like, you want him to be doing that. You don't want to be the person doing that, because 9 times out of 10 he will eventually ghost you, because he feels way too pressured into something that he wasn't even sure he really wanted in the first place. And that's really important, because at the end of the day, a first date is just an event. It's just an opportunity to get to know a person. This is not the time to make this person your husband, because you have no idea where this relationship would even go, or where this dating process with him is even gonna go. Like, he may not even make it after 2 weeks. So there's no point in sitting here putting all this pressure on him or yourself to make this work, okay? Okay, so that was it for this video. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I hope some of the tips really do help you guys. I know it really helped me once I started learning what not to say. It helped me get further in the dating process with guys, because I didn't realize that I was putting so much pressure on guys with just some of these things. So definitely take heed to these tips, and if you guys have any more tips that I didn't mention, then please leave them down in the comment section, and we can kind of talk and have a good conversation about it. And I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye.